So my grandmother was a crack addict, okay? One time, my crackhead grandmother started licking inside my ear. And she never brought it up to me, didn't say anything weird to me, just did it. And it freaked me out.
Maybe she thought she got a vibe off you, and she's like, well, fuck it. I mean, what's he going to get me pregnant?
Right.
Wayne Gretzky said, you miss out on fucking 100% of the grandchildren that you don't try to fuck.
Wait, what? All right, guys, welcome back to another Last Call podcast. My name is MikeyT, joined as always by Tristan.
Team money in his ass.
Yes, still got it.
I got to stop doing that.
Yeah, it's probably the last time we should do
That
it.
was it.
But we are joined this week by Chris and Heather from Gastlecast. Recently started a podcast. I guess you do all movies?
We do all movies and some nerd news, video game stuff every once in a while. But mainly we go and see movies and we do a podcast after. So it's immediate, from our memory. And we've also, we're going to start doing one where Heather, she hasn't seen many like classic movies, like old, original RoboCop, stuff like that. So I'm going to make her sit down and watch them with me and then do a podcast to get a fresh view of what she thinks of the movie watching it now.
Hold on, idea. If we're doing that
nude.
with me...
We should be nude when that happens. Is that your idea? No?
No, if we're doing that with me, can I show you what movies I love?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think that's a good turnaround. You each get to pick a movie a week.
She made me watch
a podcast on it.
What the fuck is that movie?
I didn't make you watch because if I did, we would have gotten through the whole thing. He forced me to take out Superstar about 20 minutes in.
Oh, I couldn't take it. Seriously.
With Molly Shannon.
Yes, with Molly Shannon. Yes, the smell my armpits bullshit. You can only watch that. You can only watch that in so many times, man.
I could watch it about 200 more times.
Believe it or not, Will Ferrell's in that movie.
Well, that was that.
Every one of those SNL movies.
Yeah. What, Will Ferrell?
Yeah, I always call him Will Smith.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I mean, they look alike.
Yeah, that's easy to get that confused.
That was in that generation of movies after Adam Sandler made it big. It was after like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison made it big, and Chris Farley had made it big at that point, coming off of SNL, and they were like, who else can we make famous? And they started making SNL movies of anybody who ever showed up on screen.
Yep. The one I think that started was Wayne's World, that movie, which is still one of my all-time favorites was Wayne's World.
Yeah,
Wayne's
that one
World
actually worked.
Wayne's World 2 wasn't that great, but Wayne's World 1, man, that's a classic.
Yep.
I can watch that 100 times over.
Yep, early SNL movie, but then there was a dark time.
Oh my God.
For every Wayne's World, you have to deal with.
You had to have a shit
Night
movie.
at the Roxbury or what
no,
else?
Undercover Brother, dude. That was
man.
bad.
I didn't
Real
even know
bad.
that.
Did they ever give a movie to? I can't remember.
Probably.
Brian Fellows.
I don't even know. Wasn't he just that guy that was on the show
bit,
forever?
He had. No, his name wasn't actually Brian Fellows. It was a bit that he did, and they tried. It was on forever, and I think it was like an animal show or something like that.
Oh God.
I'm Brian Fellows. Like I think it was Tracy Morgan was Brian Fellows. They didn't do that.
We don't get enough Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan's hilarious. He's on Howard Stern all the time, and that motherfucker is hilarious.
He's another one of those I can only take in small doses.
He's just out of control.
If he had a whole
He's
movie,
loud.
I'd be like, no, that's too much.
Yeah, I can see that. But we don't see enough of him, though. He
That's
doesn't
why
show up in any
Walmart took him
movies.
out.
Yeah, right.
They're trying to end his life.
No, he's like way dark now. He's like toned down. I haven't seen
That's
his new
racist.
one. Yeah, well, he's always been real dark. No, he's gotten real dark. I mean, I guess that happens when like your best friend dies like right next to you in an auto accident you're involved in. But like,
And you're in a coma for a while.
Yeah, he was in a coma for a while.
Wasn't he out for
wasn't
like half a year or something?
He was out for a long time, and he was really busted up when he woke up too. And I think he did a special on Netflix recently, if I remember correctly. I can't remember, but I like to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet.
So I am curious. So you tried to get him to watch Superstar.
Yeah,
the
refused.
first movie that you wanted to make her watch was RoboCop.
Well, that was so I bought that on. I have a Vudu account and tons of movies on there. So
okay.
So I bought it one weekend and I wanted her to watch it, and she didn't pay attention worth a shit.
I think I was making food or something.
You're doing something. Who knows what you're up to? Reading a book or something.
He's good at multitasking and he thinks I can do it, but I can't.
But so the only way I can get her to watch movies and to talk about it is to take her to the movies, and she'll sit.
Or
She's
sit me
forced.
down
She's forced
in like on a couch, not
Right.
in the kitchen.
Well, she had never seen Star Wars before, so I had her watch Star Wars
I
and the
had
Marvel
seen Star Wars before.
and the
was-
Marvel films.
I was really hoping that you bought RoboCop for $1 because that would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh
Like
man,
Ollie's or Big Lots.
The first two movies.
You'll
were
understand when you watch it.
Awesome. Yeah.
RoboCop's one of those movies that I first saw. I think I recorded it off television when I was a kid. I was like 12 or
TNT.
something. Probably TNT. And it's this like heavily edited, sanitized version of RoboCop. I don't know that I saw the unedited version of RoboCop until I was in my like early 20s maybe. And I was like, this is so much better.
my dad used to take me to all the movies that will come out, all the new movies, and RoboCop was one that my father rented, brought it home. We watched it. I mean, I was a little kid. I'm talking like 5 years old, I guess, at
It
the
is
time.
not a little kid's
My
movie.
dad did not give a shit. He didn't give a fuck. So
Zero fucks
RoboCop 2 comes out, and we go to Ocean City, my family, and my mom was pregnant, so she's like, Greg, take Chris out and do something. So my dad's like, fuck it, let's go see RoboCop 2. So we went to see RoboCop 2. So we walk into the theater.
It's even
and-
worse.
And people are walking out of the theater to leave. So my dad comes and sits down. I'm sitting down next to him. We got our popcorn, and this lady swings the door open that was walking out to leave. She goes, "You shouldn't let your kid watch this," and closed the door. And I looked at my dad, and it was that moment where he looked at me and he went, "Don't worry about it. We're okay." And then we watched the movie. And now the movie, now being an adult, it was fine. But back then it was horrifying, dude. Because remember there was a scene where they like take a scalpel and like cut the guy
Yeah.
open and shit. I mean, that movie was hardcore. A brain comes out at some point.
Oh
It's
yeah,
crazy.
two is dark. This is
Hardcore.
not child material.
No, but guess what? I was there.
I
was
wanna be
awesome.
there.
Yeah. They
Turned
used to
out-
let me watch whatever I wanted, and I turned out halfway.
Turned out
okay.
okay.
It's like,
Yeah,
I turned out okay.
I don't know how many people I've murdered, but I'm okay.
Yeah, look, I've suppressed the urges thus far.
Right.
No one's died.
I got this far in life.
How was Star Wars on first viewing? Well, first viewing in a long, long time, apparently.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate me, but I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan.
I don't think it's I think it's aged terribly. It's one of those things you have a lot of nostalgia for, but like I tried to do
Yeah.
the same thing. I tried to show Star Wars to my wife, and we're watching it, and in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, "Oh, I'm embarrassed that I've done this because this movie's fucking awful." Like I love it to
Sure.
death, but it looks bad. Mark Hamill is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
He's a really bad actor.
Like
Yeah,
he's
really
a really
bad.
bad actor. Like it doesn't make a ton of sense. Like and it hasn't
It
aged
gives
well.
a
So I was
charm.
curious.
It gives a charm
Yeah.
though that he was not a very good actor. I mean, the movie works. Even to this day, it works. I mean, how many movies can you say you watch from back in that time period that you could watch 100 times over, other than like Alien and stuff like that?
I think
know.
I think Alien
That's aged much
has
better.
aged much
Oh
better.
my God,
It's
yeah,
not perfect,
totally agree.
but it holds up. You could sit a modern kid down in the dark to watch Alien.
Absolutely.
And some of the computer stuff might kind of put them off. Like, what is that even a computer kind of thing?
Sure.
But
Why is it so big? This is the future. Why is that computer the
There's
size of a
blinking
bus?
lights everywhere.
but I think it still scare the shit out of them. Like, I think the aliens.
It's
still,
timeless.
Yeah. Very, very much.
And
so.
you know why? Because they movies back then stand up so well because they were all practical effects. And nowadays, you watch movies from like the mid 90s until like the mid 2000s. Watch Starship Troopers. I tried watching that a couple of months ago.
man.
Holy shit. I remember watching it when it first came out and I was like, "Oh my god, this looks so awesome." I watched it the other day and it's like some kid made it, as what it looked like
Yeah.
to me. Really, really bad.
See, I think there are plenty of shitty looking practical effects, though.
Sure.
The reason why movies back then seem to hold up better is because we're looking at them through the filter of only the movies that people remember. You know what I mean?
True.
They made 1,000 movies in 1979, and we remember 3 of them. Well, those are great.
Absolutely.
Same thing with music, right? Said the 70s is the golden age of rock and roll. Well, there's also a lot of shit that they made in the 70s.
There was also back then. There was also a shadow or a darkness to the creatures that they'd show you. You'd only see a glimpse of the alien, or you'd see a glimpse of Jaws and stuff. Oh, of course, Jaws was up on the boat at the end, but there was only glimpses that you were seeing of the different creatures. Nowadays, the special effects, they just throw it at your face. And I mean, look at Transformers, for crying out loud. even though it's a big high action movie and everything, you have to see everything and you have to understand everything. There's no unknown to movies now. And prequels come out and all the unknown is sucked away. Alien Covenant and Prometheus is a perfect example. Have you guys watched that movie yet?
I've seen Prometheus.
Alien Covenant?
Not Covenant.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of the parts of the movie when you're
Is there
watching
an alien in the
when
end?
you're watching Alien, yeah, right. And when you're watching
Spoiler
Alien
alert.
Covenant, they explain where the alien comes from, and when you hear where the alien comes from, you just want to punch yourself in the face because it's like this whole time it was so cool and under like this, I don't know, like there's like a shadow over the whole thing. Like where do they come from? They're so weird and they're these strange creatures, and now you know where they came from, and it's like this is fucking stupid. Who gives a shit where they come from? They were awesome.
Sometimes it's better not to know.
Absolutely.
So in a monster movie, do you ever want the monster to come into the bright light? Do you want a good look at that monster, or do you think it's better?
I like the unknown better. I think in a lot of movies that works. Think like remember in Reservoir Dogs where it like cuts the ear and you never see anything.
Sure.
Whereas today it'd be like a Saw movie where it's like you're sawing into. It's more about like
It'd be super, yeah.
it's all about the gore or the jump scares in horror movies.
Well, how about a big prime example, the background of Darth Vader? Now we know he was a dumb little kid who couldn't act, and then he became like this teenager who was a complete asshole, who cried about everything. I didn't care about that.
I'm going to take the other side here. To me, creating a creature, creating its background, creating where it came from, and telling that story is the hard part. If all you're doing is creating tension through the unknown, to me, there are occasions where that work. Like I said, Alien nails it. Okay, it creates tension through absence.
Sure.
But I think a lot of writers lean on that like a crutch. Oh, well, if I just don't show it, I don't have to say anything about it, and it'll build tension. Fuck you.
Right.
That's cheating.
Right.
The hard part is building a character, is building something interesting, and then showing it to the audience and being like, this is what you were scared of the whole time. Like,
Right.
That's the hard part. And if you don't do it, you're a shitty writer. But that's just me. And I don't have very good taste.
Another movie.
I don't
Probably
have
why
very
it
good
very
taste in
rarely
movies.
works.
Another movie that there's a creature that you know nothing about that's very interesting, and people even to this day is very interesting, is the Jeepers Creepers thing. That creature.
Yeah, I haven't seen that series of movies.
I really enjoyed those two movies, and I believe now they're making a third, which they'll probably be like, well, Jeepers Creepers, this creature came from the planet Xeon. You know what I mean? And it's going to show you his planet and how he grew up and where his parents were
Are
and
you
shit.
talking about the old ones
Yeah,
or just
Jeepers
the
Creepers.
new ones?
Yeah, I'm talking
Oh,
about the old one. There's only two.
just
There's only two movies.
ever or like the
Of
old one
Jeepers
and the
Creepers.
remake?
There was no remake. There was a part 1 and a part 2 of Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, the first one was
didn't
bizarre as
realize
shit
that.
because there's a car,
Real memorable.
these two kids riding down the road, and there's the creature in this truck. You cannot see him, trying to knock him off the road. And then in the second movie, he has wings and he's flying around and shit. It just like there's so much crazy shit going on in those movies.
So the first Jeepers
Wacky
Creepers
Jeepers
was 70s, 80s, right?
No, first
Or
Jeepers
90s.
No, they're like
Creepers was
90s,
yeah,
2000s.
early 2000s.
Early
I think,
2000s.
if I remember correctly.
Oh,
And
I
Jeepers
could've sworn
Creepers
there
2
was an
came out
old,
in
old one.
Jeepers Creepers 2 came out in 04, I think.
Yeah, I might be wrong.
See, I think
Yeah.
there's stuff that
Probably
works. Like, you know what? Off the top of my I haven't seen all of them. What was the first Rob Zombie horror movie?
Don't get me started. I don't like those movies.
See, to me, like
Yeah.
that's interesting. It's all on Front Street.
Sure.
Like
What was it?
it's
House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand Corpses. Like there's tension that builds throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But eventually, there's nothing that's hidden under the blanket. Like,
Sure.
they show it to you. I'm not saying that movie's not without its flaws. It is in a big
I
way.
just don't care for them. I'm not a big horror movie buff too much, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I used to when I was younger, but I'm just, I don't know.
So
I'm
you
just
like
not
the
into it.
tension. You don't like the gore or the guts. Or
I don't really mind that. It's just I like good horror movies, like the original Halloween, as an example. That's aged pretty well, in my opinion. Some of the Friday the 13th movies, the early ones are good, but the first Saw, a lot of people will disagree, but I really liked the first
I
Saw. I thought it was a
loved that
very
I did too.
well done
Yeah,
film.
I think
No, the
first
first
Saw
one
was a
was
lot of
good.
fun.
But the
It's just
rest-
everything else after that.
Again, another movie that had a shadow over it. You didn't know what was going on. The
Yeah.
whole story was very bizarre, and it was all told through this, the eyes of some guy laying on the floor in a room that he was locked in.
I think the
you know.
twist is the weakest part. I think the twist of the guy was there the whole time is like,
It was okay. When you first watch it the first time, it's like, holy shit.
But I think the rest of the movie holds up way better. Like the plot that this guy is, he didn't need to be on the floor the whole time.
Sure.
I don't think. I guess the shock is fun.
I can agree with that.
But I mean, just the I don't know. And then later it was just about the devices, right? It's just what horrible fucking things can we do to people?
Absolutely. But
that's what happens when you get too much money. It loses, because I'm sure Saw was good because it probably had a much more limited budget. And then once they were just handed a shit ton of money, they're just like, oh, now we can go wild and just smash heads. And
their budget actually didn't go up that much. It was always really cheap to make, which is why they made one every year for like 7 years or something like that.
Yep.
Like they made those movies for, I want to say like $1 million or something like that.
It's crazy.
And then they'd make, $40 million every Halloween, which isn't, it's not Avengers money or anything like that, but
still they're making good dough off it.
Right, yeah,
It's surprising that they stopped making them. Because if they were making that kind of hand over fist,
I think they soured in the later years. I think eventually they did, because didn't they do a 3D one? I think maybe that budget swelled a little bit, and I think people kind of got wise to their bullshit and just stopped going.
Well, how many of those damn movies can you watch? And it's the same thing over and over. How much can you torture a human being?
And you really just started watching that movie for 10 minutes of it, right?
How many times can the Wayans brothers parody it?
Exactly.
For every Saw, you had a
you're watching all this
movie.
torture, and you're being tortured at the same time, practically, because you don't want to sit through the bullshit.
I don't like.
I'll tell you another good movie that holds up very well: The Thing, the original, or not the original, but the remake of The Thing from the '80s.
I don't think I saw that.
That's pretty good.
I don't think the effects hold up well.
The practical effects are pretty damn creepy, man.
Some of them are a little weird looking.
I think the plot holds up well. The tension's there. When they start to bring out the creature, though, I don't think that holds up well.
There's some stuff that happens on there, man. It's still creepy to this day, I'll tell you. Especially the head with the spider legs that kind of crawl out of it and shit. You know what I think?
I don't think that looks good.
Well, what I think about when I'm watching that
When was the last time you watched it?
Probably about maybe 6 months ago.
Okay.
I watched it on television.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying it's fantastic or anything. I'm saying it held up. I mean, because there's some movies you watch, like I said, like Starship Troopers, where you're watching, it's like, I can't watch this anymore. I mean,
I can still like a movie that doesn't hold up well.
Sure.
I still enjoy Starship Troopers because part of me is still 14 when I watch it.
Absolutely.
And part of me I still love The Thing. I guess my gauge is like if I showed The Thing to my wife or to Heather or to a teenager, they're gonna get to that point when that creature comes out and be like, that kind of looks like that takes me out of it.
Yeah.
They'll probably be more bothered by people's haircuts and shit like that, like the clothes they're wearing,
like outfits and shit.
That is the truest thing
That is
I've
some of the
ever
most
heard.
jarring stuff when you watch an old movie. You're like, what the fuck is with their hair?
But now they have movies, they place them back in those times, and they have the crazy hair. You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of
but
you know what I mean?
there's a difference between like making it crazy and it actually like being fucked up.
Yeah.
And crazy. Like back then, like you saw some crazy bad looking hair.
Oh, a quick question. Are you guys Harry Potter people? I just watched the latest Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, we
The
watched
latest,
it.
hold on, Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah,
Harry Potter. Oh,
no, okay, I guess it's technically not Harry Potter.
Harry Potter World
prequel
okay.
or whatever.
But Harry Potter World.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking clue about anything that kid said during that movie. I didn't understand a word he said. He's mumbling in an English accent the whole goddamn time.
Yeah.
It made me feel like an old person. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, you should watch it. Maybe I am an old person at this point, but every time he talks, I'm like,
huh?
What did he say? Like, I've got my sound bar all the way up. I'm like, what is he fucking talking about?
Does he have like a super thick English? Who's that?
No, he talks like
he mumbles a lot.
Yeah, he's supposed to be really awkward and not comfortable in his skin.
Yes.
Oh, it's like British Michael Cera.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah, exactly. So between a Michael Cera-esque personality and a moderate British accent and poor sound design, I have no idea what that kid was saying throughout.
And had you seen the prior Harry Potter movies?
Yeah, I'd seen all of those. But
are you a major fan?
I'm not
Or
a
just
major
sort of
fan. I enjoy it. It's a fun
okay.
world. I enjoyed the ride.
Yeah, the ride's awesome.
But I meant the ride of the 8 movies.
Oh, well, we went to Universal.
we
and
went
the
to
rides
yeah,
are
we did.
awesome.
No, yeah, no,
Those
not
rides,
the
yeah.
actual ride.
Yeah, okay.
But
in case you
but there aren't any characters like that in there. Like all the characters in the Harry Potter movies are outward and they speak clearly and they do have British accents. But
I was
Wizard Harry.
The one thing I did point out about that character was that he came across to me like a villain, like he's going to be a future villain. I don't know why. I thought that the whole entire time I watched that character because he just looks like a villain to me. He's a very strange looking actor to pick as the main hero character, in my opinion.
He's just nerdy.
He's
He
a
has,
weird
like,
looking
his
guy.
He's an
Niffler in
evil
his
nerd, damn it.
bag.
Yeah.
no,
I
I
don't
think
know, I haven't
they did
seen
it on purpose because they want it's the same reason why Twilight's successful, right? You make a lead character who the kids who are into it reminds them of themselves.
Oh God, am I a fucking nerd?
Yeah.
What?
You
Is
host
that a question?
You host a movie podcast. Of course, you're a nerd.
Of course you are. Yeah.
I'm dragged into a movie.
That's like
signed up
a
a long time
prerequisite.
Oh no.
You just check the box. It's
Didn't you
like-
guys go to Star Wars Fest?
Myself
did.
and my friend Jordan.
Oh,
With the
okay.
Star
You
Wars
skipped
celebration.
that one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me
Well,
tell
we-
you something. That was a mess. That whole thing is a mess.
We
Bad?
Dude, it's fucking lines the whole time to get into the big events. To in other words, to watch like the 40th anniversary thing where like Harrison Ford and all those guys are up on stage. You had to sleep there overnight on the floor and or like on the ground or on the floor inside of the building to get into it. And Jordan and I, we didn't know about it, but I would have never done that. That's out of control.
Yeah.
There was nothing I would wait that long for.
Really?
No, I gotta say, I probably would for because I'm a big MCU fan. So maybe for MCU, I would for something to do with that, maybe. But I'm kind of on the agreement with you on that.
I just don't have the attention span to I would go insane.
You don't like anything that much.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That is.
No, but I'm saying
it's not about attention. It's just like there's no passion in your life for anything.
for anything.
I don't like anything.
No, but I think that every time, Memorial Day weekend or whatever, when they show the line around secrets,
Yeah.
in
Oh my
Ocean
god,
City,
fuck that.
Fuck that.
and I'm like, I wouldn't wait 10 minutes to go into secrets. I'd walk into the door, see like a line that's like maybe 50 people long, and unless that fucker's moving, I'm going to a different bar. Like, why the hell would you want to wait to go stand in line at a bar?
Right.
To go stand in syphilis water.
To pay them money.
You're going in there to drink. You can drink anywhere. Why would you choose to stand in a 7-hour line?
I assume that's what people must be doing. They must have friends bringing them alcohol in the line. There's no other way.
They showed up hammered drunk, and it'll just wear off until they get inside, and then they'll ramp it back up. Or they
didn't they
brought
start-
alcohol.
Yeah, didn't they start putting porta potties along the line?
That's
They're
awesome.
Like we're sick
I
of people
wouldn't doubt
pissing on everything.
There is a shit on the sidewalk.
Oh
They're
man,
ruining Ocean City.
One
that's
shit.
just that's another shit. That reminds me when we went to opening day for Orioles. We were waiting outside of Pickles, whatever, like all those different bars, and the line for the porta pot was fucking long, and it was myself, Dixon, and our friend Khalif, who's like 6'7", and we're everyone's starting to go in 2 at a time, and like one pees in the sit down and one pees in the urinal, and somebody's like, "Why don't you guys just go in and sing?" I was like, any one of us barely fits in there to begin with. You're going to suggest that the 3 biggest dudes here are going to cram into a
Bulls in a
fucking...
china shop.
So Dixon eventually gave up. He was like 3 people back. He's like, I have to piss so bad. Ran up, just pissed next to the porta pot, which happened to be right next to the big bay window of the bar. There's he's like, whatever. If they see it, they see it. He's like, no shame in my game. He just pissed on the side of the building. And it must have been like a pressure washer because he had to piss like a motherfucker, and he was done in like 8 seconds. He must have put a hole in the brick because that shit was intense. It's like, how the fuck did you finish? I had to piss so bad. I'm in there for like a minute.
you know, I don't want to sound gay or anything, but like I notice that occasionally, like you go into a bathroom and you're either urinal and like, you know, you hear it kind of like hitting the back wall of the urinal or something like that. And then some guy comes in next to you and he just unfurls it and it sounds like he's unleashed a fire hose into the back of the urinal and you're just like, Jesus, what are you working with over there? Like, is there a 1/4-inch hole in the end of it? Like, what? You and I are built fundamentally differently. Can I see it? I'm just curious.
You just unloaded a pint of piss in a 1/4 second.
Yeah, it's amazing. I heard a story once. Keith Malley talks about going to Mardi Gras, and it's the same thing. There's horrible lines everywhere to go to the bathroom because everybody's pissed drunk. And he goes into, and you know, when you get in a situation in a bar where like you get into the restroom and you're in the like internal line waiting for the stalls and stuff like that. And he sees that there's 3 sinks there, and he's like, you know what? I'm not fucking waiting anymore. And he walks over and he started pissing in the sink, and all the guys are looking, and they're like, you could do that? And he's like, today you can.
I'm surprised that worked because in New Orleans and stuff like that, it's just notorious that the cops there give 0 fucks. It's like you do anything, you're getting beat up, and then you're getting dragged away in a paddy wagon. And I'm surprised they didn't have bathroom attendants everywhere. So.
And you don't want to get arrested for anything involving your dick, because that's how you end up like a registered sex offender. I never pee outside. I don't care how bad it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's really bad.
Right.
But like,
there were children 30 miles away, but your dick was out.
Yeah,
they could have seen it with binoculars.
You were in a dark alley in Annapolis at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's cool. Just be like, R.I.P. Harambe. They'll understand. They'll like pound their chest, be like, "That's right, bro."
So you end up going to neighbors' houses. Hi, my name's Tristan. I'm a registered sex offender. No, you don't have to hide your children.
I really had to pee.
And I was wasted at Mardi Gras.
Yeah, exactly. I have a friend that he spent time in jail because of public urination.
Oh my God.
He forgot
the most ridiculous
He
thing.
forgot to follow up and get a public defender. So he showed up to his court date and was like, yeah, I don't have an attorney. And the judge was like, "Are you fucking stupid?" It's like, you're going to jail. And he spent like the weekend in jail for pissing in public.
Oh my God.
And I'm wondering if I had always heard the whole registered sex offender thing for pissing in public. I don't know if that happened to him.
Depends on the state. I think it depends on if you're an asshole to the cop. Like, I think there's a bunch of different things that they can do. But
trying to get him on the show. We'll get him to talk about it. We'll get the whole story.
I was at a bar once, and I was just hanging out, and I saw somebody. I don't know. I think we knew him back in high school. I don't remember who it was anymore. And I was at the bar.
Somebody familiar.
Somebody familiar. You'd know him if I said his name. And we were hanging out at the bar, and we were just drinking. And he came up with a buddy of his, and they were kind of in the second tier behind the people who were sitting at the bar. Mm-hmm. And somebody paid their tab on the bar, and they left it on the kind of bar mat at the very front. And he walked up, and he saw the payment on the bar. It was like $40 or something like that. And he saw it, and he looked around, and he didn't see anybody looking. He didn't see me looking at him, and he grabbed the $40 and he pocketed it.
What a fucking asshole.
He thought he got away with it, and I told the bartender, I was like, that kid just took your fucking $40. Like, he's a piece of shit. So they went and got the manager, and they knew who he was. Cops went to his house the next day.
Oh,
and
so
he
he's
had to
like
go.
a regular there or something?
Yeah, everybody knew who he was. Like, he's an asshole.
It's not like his only time ever being there. It's just like, I come here every Friday. Fuck it, taking money.
See you next week. I'm here to take tabs.
I think I knew the bartender. Maybe I don't remember. Anyway, so
what a fucking dick
because
hole.
I was the one who saw it, I got a subpoena to go to court and testify that I saw this kid take the money. So I show up there and I sit and I wait for like 2 hours for the trial to get started. And the kid walks up and he's like, "You're accused of taking $40. How do you plead?" And he's like, look, Your Honor, I'm really sorry. He's like, that's not what I asked you. And he's like, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm going to treatment. I'm getting things better. And he's like, all right, look, do you have the $40 that you took on you today? And he's like, no. He's like, you're coming to court. You might go to jail for theft. And you didn't bring the $40 that you took from this guy? He's like, no, I don't have $40. He's like, then you're going to jail. Enjoy your 10 days.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Put him in fucking handcuffs for $40 because he's a piece of shit.
What an idiot.
That's awesome.
I wish I could remember who it was.
That.
Yeah, he was an
if the judge let him go and he had $40, who knows? But if he had
I don't
$40,
think the judge's plan was to let him walk for $40.
Right. Yeah.
But
But still, if you would have let him, go on some, I don't know. If it were a later, whatever. It would have pissed me off, I think. He deserved that 10 days for being an asshole like that.
I mean, it costs money to put somebody in jail for 10 days. Like, if he showed up and said, I'm sorry, and took concrete steps.
But think about this. How many times had he done that before? That is not his first time.
Oh,
sure.
you're absolutely right.
That's what I mean. So he deserved his
I'm
time
really
to go in
curious
there.
who it was.
You
said,
know what,
so the guy that stole
You said
it,
his name was Bobby Strutz?
fucking Bobby.
God damn it, Bobby.
It was probably on that lunch break that he took.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who stole it, we knew him. I'll think about
10-hour
it.
lunch break.
I'll think about it. I'll text somebody. I might be able to figure out who it was.
But so Celebration was all lines, and I came back and I did a podcast with Jordan about all that. I stood in line waiting for a signature from Emperor Palpatine for 5 hours. It was grueling. And I met some pretty cool people online and everything, but goddamn, I'll never make that decision ever again.
In fairness, he's like a third-tier character.
Yeah, no
it wasn't like Mark Hamill or like,
right. Oh, but it took forever for his ass to come out. So everything that you were doing there, other than buying merch, you had to stand in line. To include buying Star Wars Celebration merchandise, they had a line for that, and that line was like 4 hours. Everything was like 4 hours. Buying tickets for autographs, you stood in line for 2 hours to buy a ticket for an autograph, and then you stood in like a 2 hour to 4 hour line for the autograph. It was incredible. And what they did even worse was that where you stood in line, they didn't put monitors up so you could watch what was going on, what was being filmed at the time around the celebration thing, because they had something every couple hours. So you stood looking at nothing the whole fucking time.
Yeah, that's like a fuck you to fans.
A big time. It was unbelievable. I enjoyed myself, don't get me wrong, but goddamn.
Hasn't most of the Star Wars like saga been a big fuck you to fans?
Oh god, dude!
I mean, people look at the original movies.
You want to get him started on the prequels? Yep. Is that really what you want to fire up?
Everybody wants to get into the.
Well,
looks at it all in rose-colored
glasses.
The
I look at it this way: how many times can they get you to buy the movies? That's my big question. Because we have bought the movies
all of the time.
0.
Right. Tons. So, in other words, fans like me will keep buying them. Like right now, I want them on my Vudu account, so they're digital because I like all my shit being digital.
I get that.
Well, I have them on Blu-ray. Okay, the movies are on Blu-ray, and there is a thing through Vudu where you can scan the barcode and get the films, for a minor cost, like say $2 a movie or something. Okay. It's not available for Star Wars. Every other movie, but no Star Wars or any other Disney product for that matter. What kind of bullshit is that?
Smart business.
Yes, it was. Yeah, smart business.
That's a dedicated.
I'm just mad because they figured it out before I did. Because I would totally fleece.
I'm pissed off at that and the Uber guy. Whoever came up with Uber was a goddamn genius, man.
I don't think so, man. I think they're fixing to go down hard.
You think so?
Yeah. That company's hemorrhaging money. Like everybody thinks it's worth a ton of money, and it is. Like if you tried to sell it right now, you'd make a bunch of money on it. But they've never had a year where they've made a profit. Like they're just valued way higher than
same thing with Amazon. Apparently Amazon's the same way.
Yeah, Amazon's the same way, but like in a different way, I think. Like if you sold everything that Amazon is worth, like you'd have a ton of money. Uber doesn't actually have any like assets. And like they're basically like slave owners at this
Pretty
point.
much, yeah.
And like it's a shitty business practice. Did you read this like letter that the CEO sent out? There was like a guide to sleeping with your coworkers or something.
No.
It was a letter like 2 years ago, and it was like I think they were getting ready for some big employee festival, and it was like a guideline. It was like, look, you could definitely fuck your coworkers, but they can't be in your direct line of command. And I don't know, there was like one other rule that you weren't allowed to do. So the word was he was going to take a step down yesterday.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know it worked like that. I thought you just like proved you had a reasonably clean driving record and had a car.
Oh no, this was for like the corporate Uber people.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you're not allowed to have sex with your riders. That's frowned upon. That's another big problem they're having. That's well, I mean, that's the big problem is like there's all these accusations of Uber drivers, doing awful things and them like covering up that it actually happened. I think there was a girl in another country, and I can't remember the name of the country. There was a girl in another country who took an Uber ride and claimed she was raped.
Ooh.
And Uber corporate security, the head of corporate security, went out on his own and basically stole a copy of her medical records to try and prove that the sex was consensual.
Oh my God.
Damn.
And the CEO found out about this. He was like, that's cool. So the head of corporate security was removed last week, I think. And now yesterday, they think that the head of Uber is going to take a leave of absence.
So Uber's kind of folding up, or at least they're elite.
They're doing great. They're valued really high, but like they're like, it's really weird because like, are they a taxi company? Are they ride sharing? If you're a taxi company, they don't have the medallions like in New York that you're supposed to have.
Yeah, I thought that was the big issue with them is that they weren't being taxed properly and all this other shit.
They're not being taxed properly. They're not following regulations. They're not like, all of their employees are these independent contractors who all claim that they're being taken advantage of. Like, there's a ton of money there, but I think it's a big house of cards that's going to collapse.
Well, we used Uber the whole time we were in Orlando because we stayed at my grandparents' house, and they're about a half hour from Orlando. But we used Uber the whole time. I got to tell you, that was the first time I'd ever used that service, but it was a hell of a service.
I fucking love Uber.
It was fantastic.
It's the best.
It's amazing.
Did you use it one other time?
We used it for the bachelor party that
I
one time.
thought so.
But
other
I
than
wasn't
that,
I wasn't really in the commanding role to order it, but I ordered it while I was in Orlando,
You're
and
just
I didn't
like
know
a car showed up, everybody in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But the app and everything, it's all very simple. It tells you when a car is nearby and everything else. I had one pick up Big Diane that one time.
Yeah. I would imagine there would be a lot of legal issues because I don't think you really get interviewed or anything. Do you?
No,
No.
I talked to some of the drivers,
basically
and this
just
guy had just
send something
moved.
in.
He moved from Costa Rica. He's originally from Texas or something. And he was living in Costa Rica, and he was telling me how he's a multimillionaire. I still don't understand that because he's a fucking Uber driver. But he was telling me that he basically went online and he signed up and had to take a couple of little online courses or something, and then boom, he's an Uber driver.
Yeah, they
He said,
interview
"Yeah,
your
just-
car. Your
yeah."
car has to be new enough and nice enough for them to accept you.
Right.
But no, they don't give a shit.
He's like, I just started a week ago. Everything's great. He goes, this is easy money until I find my real job, because I just moved back to Florida, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, holy shit.
The only thing I need on the Uber app is I want a little option when you select your ride, and it says you could check one. Either I'm a talkative person and I like to meet people, ask me
Yes.
questions,
Yes.
or
Shut
the fuck up. Just drive me.
Right.
Like
That would be a nice addition.
I used to take an Uber out for game night out in Ellicott City. It was 30 minutes from my house or so. And I'd get into the car to go to game night, and hopefully I'd get in the back seat, and hopefully that person would just be quiet, and I could just put my head down and go to sleep or something like that. I'd get into that seat, and they'd be like, "Hey, how you doing today? How long you living in Pasadena?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, I've signed up for a 30-minute conversation with a stranger. This is my nightmare."
That's where you just reach out and just like, shh.
I would have rather taken the DUI.
It's like, oh, looks like I'm at my destination. You can let me out here, please.
You know what? I'll tuck and roll. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't check on me. Send somebody else to help.
Is there any way I can just get the fuck out of here?
Is there a send another driver option?
That'd be great.
So I'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about this week. Are either of you sports people?
No.
I'm sorry to hear that. So the Pittsburgh Penguins won their second consecutive Stanley Cup this week. I'm sure that made you just thrilled to
Yeah,
death.
fuck Pittsburgh.
It
mean,
stinks there.
it does stink in
It
Pittsburgh.
does.
really
It's an
stinky.
awful town. I hate it. I hate
It's
everything
like
about
I
it.
never
been.
thought there would be a place that I disliked more than Baltimore.
That's saying a lot.
I hate them both in their own ways.
Yeah. they both have their charm.
They're both special to me.
Is there anything to see in Pittsburgh? Like, if you go there, what do you like? You go to Baltimore, and it's about like the Ravens, Orioles, and all this type of shit. But when you go to Pittsburgh, or I don't know, what else is there to see?
I mean,
in
they have
fucking
nice.
Baltimore?
They have nice. I mean, if you want to talk about stadiums, like Heinz Field is a pretty historic NFL stadium, and their baseball stadium is very nice.
Really.
They're both right on the river. They've got a lot of bridges.
They have bridges.
But I mean, like the
buildings.
Inner Harbor, I guess, is a big thing in Baltimore, right?
They have a pretty
And-
skyline.
They have a pretty skyline. They have a nice. They have a really cool downtown area where it's built like at the bottom of a hill, and like you kind of approach it, and you park at the top of the hill, at the top of like I don't want to say mountain, like but
Sure.
it's a big hill.
Does
Yeah.
it remind you of Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah. So like you park at the top of this hill, and then you get onto like a it's not a lift because it's on rails, but you get on a big like a bus that's on rails, and it just floats down the side of the hill, and then you get out, and there's this big downtown area,
No shit.
where you can kind of hang out. They have the waterfront, I think it's what it's called, because it's right on the water. It's
And it
really
smells like
cool.
shit there. Or?
Parts of it do.
I mean, it's probably the same odd smells you get in
In
fucking
Baltimore?
Yeah, their
I mean, you
water
can't
their
go
water
through
smells a
most
little
of
bit better
Baltimore
than ours
without-
does because it's moving. Like the water in Baltimore is at a harbor, so it's kind of
still.
stagnant.
Yeah.
You get a lot of trash in the water, and
Dead bodies.
Those two.
but like so downtown Pittsburgh is nice for a city, but there's a lot of it sucks. And it's dirty. It's cold most of the year. It fucking sucks. There.
Philadelphia is sort of the same way, but Philadelphia is just so much to see. I love
Philly's
Philadelphia.
stinky too.
I really
No,
like,
Philly
I really
sucks.
like Philly though.
Yeah, Philly.
Sorry, Philly sucks.
There's just a lot to see there. A lot of
You guys got
historical
rid of
shit.
the one cool thing you had, was the fucking Rocky statue at the top of the stairs. You're like, we don't need
They
that.
got rid of it?
Wait a minute, I think they put it back. I think
Yeah,
it's
they
back
probably
there.
put it back for like
Yeah.
when the sequel came out or something
Yeah,
like
probably
that.
for Creed or something. But I know,
Yeah.
I know for sure because I said the same thing to somebody not too long ago, and
It's
they're like,
all
"Oh
they
no,
had
it's
to
there."
live for.
I don't know why they would ever remove it.
Well, I mean, I think it was like at an art museum. I think some like art people were like, "Can we get this fucking statue for this 30-year-old movie out of our art museum?"
It's
But-
enough already. We're tired of the people running and panting up the stairs.
I bet if you go there, like in the middle of the day, you could sit for like a half hour and see 50 people doing that.
Oh,
Just
you would-
just for Instagram or
You
whatever.
would
Yeah.
love it because the stairs are higher than you think they are. So like you could just sit at the bottom all day and just watch fat Americans make it about a third of the way up, and then just lean over and huff and puff and kind of walk the rest of the way. It's,
like-
right up your alley.
I got enough for my video. I'm going back down. Where'd that hot dog cart go?
Stop recording. Come to the top. We should open a pizza stand midway up the stairs.
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. And then put signs at intervals along the way. It's like you're almost there with like pictures of pizza.
They can replenish their energy. Put a bus
Just
system.
make the pizza more expensive as you go up the stairs. Like,
No, it's cheaper.
oh yeah, you're right. The further you make it, yeah.
So like if you only go like a quarter of the way up, it's like a $20 slice.
Right.
Halfway's 10. You get up into reasonable price. You make it all the way to the top, you get a free slice of pizza.
Then they got a slide that brings you down to the bottom. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, $20 for the slide.
Right. Nowhere near the bike rack because we know they're not riding bikes.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead and walk back down.
Yeah.
Look, both you and I know you aren't going to walk back down. Just give me the 20.
They just have XL Ubers at the bottom with doors open, so they slide right their fat asses right on in.
You bounce down the steps.
and a medic.
Medic. Yeah. Stretcher. I don't know. Philly's okay.
I like it. I like the artsy part of it.
Yeah,
but
there's
I
some
don't-
artsy parts of it.
I
It
don't
is pretty
like-
shitty.
I'm not a city person.
Well,
Me neither.
The problem with Philly
Yeah,
too is
that's-
that
I hear you.
sports-wise, they're pretty much the bottom of the barrel. Like that's where all the asshole fans from multiple sports are.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles.
And they don't have any good teams.
Yeah.
Not really good teams. I mean, they've got teams that come and go, but yeah, no, that
Not current.
I don't harbor a personal hatred for Philly, but you know,
Aren't they? That's the one where the football stadium. Don't they have like personalized jail cells in the stadium?
oh yeah. They've got
What?
jail in the basement of the Link. Is it the Link still?
I don't remember.
Yeah. They've got jail, down
cells.
So if
Wow.
people
Yeah,
get
there's a
rowdy,
jail.
Get rowdy and shit.
there. Yeah. I mean, they're drunk tanks basically.
Do they
They're
have
not
that at the
like-
Raven Stadium?
I think they have it everywhere, just in case people get really rowdy before the actual cops
Wow.
show up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
but,
surprised.
You
You
know,
got to put them
it's-
somewhere.
Yeah, it's just a drunk tank, and then the real cops probably show up and take them. But I think Philly's famous for it for some reason, because it's the same place that
It's like his 1800 jail.
It's the same
Yeah.
place that like concussed Santa Claus with ice chunks.
Like a torture rack down there with like the big leather straps and shit.
It's certainly no Chicago.
You know what else is cool in Philly is their what's that jail there from like the 1800s? It's in the shape of a spokes of a wagon wheel. It has like a center and spokes that come off it.
really?
Yeah, it's called. I've been there a couple of times. It'll come back to me.
If you're famous,
But it's
for it.
really. It's pretty cool. In fact, Scarface, Al Capone was in there for like just a couple months, and they still have his jail cell set up almost as he left it. And in his jail cell, they allowed him to have like an armoire and a nice bed and a whole 9 yards, because he's big money then.
Yeah,
You know? But I
like
think
the Goodfellas setup. Yeah.
exactly. And soon after he died, of course, of syphilis. I can't remember what is that called? Eastern State Penitentiary. That's what it's called.
Those are things Philly is famous for. Just jail cells and syphilis.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
Jail cells, Scarface. Cities that are nice to live in, although nobody I know can afford to live there, like San Francisco, home of the Golden State Warriors, winner of their second NBA championship in the last 3 years, taking out LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland, there's a sad, sad city.
I love that tourism video. It's
Yeah,
so great.
yeah,
It's
Cleveland-
Like, it's like
Cleveland tourism.
a beat song, and they're like, our economy's based on LeBron James. Our main export is crippling depression. That is Cleveland.
We're not Detroit.
That's right.
What's like remember on Wayne's World where he's like, we're in Delaware. Remember, because they go through like all like Honolulu, Hawaii or something. He's like, and we're in Delaware. Nothing to say here.
Poor Cleveland. They got one NBA championship. They have nothing else. That is the saddest sports city and city in general, maybe in the country.
Drew Carey said Cleveland rocks, so I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about.
Would you really trust Drew Carey's opinion on
No,
anything?
not whatsoever.
Back then, I would have.
Maybe pizza.
Maybe diet.
Yeah.
Because apparently
man.
he lost a ton of weight.
Have you seen that?
Oh, he has.
Yeah,
He
he
looks-
has
Oh yeah, he's like skeleton Drew Carey.
He looks
now.
Oh
frightening.
God,
yeah.
Yeah,
His
it
face
looks
is all
like
sunken in.
I don't like that.
He looks like he's slowly going through the transformation from
Thinner?
Last Crusade.
Oh,
The dude
chose
where his like his whole face is
poorly.
like sinking in and shit. He's about to turn into sand.
Oh God, yeah. He looks frightening because he was like a fat guy, and then he became the scrawny guy. Like,
And he was a jolly fat guy. He was
Yeah.
really having a good time being a fat guy.
Yeah, he was.
the problem is it's like he lost weight, but he didn't gain any good weight. So it's just like you have like fat person body draped over a skeleton,
Right.
and it's a little bit horrifying.
Right.
he probably has one of those like terrible like Hollywood weight loss secrets where like he eats a huge meal, but then he has a doctor like suck the food back out of his stomach with some device you've never even heard of before, or
He eats,
You know.
eats nothing but baby fetuses.
to help him,
Keeps me young.
to help him feel young again.
Diet is only prunes. Something like really disgusting.
E3 is going on right now. Done today. I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know
it finished
anymore.
up today. Apparently, the Microsoft conference was fucking horrendous. Although
I feel like they always are.
they are going to have backwards compatibility.
Microsoft
For the new
announced
Xbox.
the. God damn it, Microsoft. Microsoft announced the Xbox One X,
Which sounds like S.
which is going to be the fastest gaming console ever produced, apparently. It's not going to play any games that are any different than the regular Xbox One or Xbox One S. But it will apparently scale up into fantastic resolutions if you're interested in things like 4K and UHD.
But mainly if you're interested in spending more money for the same.
Yes, the Xbox One X will retail for the low price of $500, which is not quite double what the Xbox One or Xbox One S are running for at the moment. I don't know.
The original PlayStation price, $500. It was like really absurd, like $600 or something, if I remember correctly.
That was the PlayStation 3 was stupid expensive.
That
was
one
like
was too,
$600.
but the original PlayStation was too. Because back then, who the fuck was looking for that?
Aren't the consoles launching at like $399 at this point?
Most.
Like
Nintendo is the only one who's any different. I mean,
right? Because their hardware's
they're just they decide to
boring,
beat at a different drum or different
I get that
different drum, but they're known for now Zelda. Apparently, the new Zelda's fantastic, but I don't think I'll ever play it. My buddy brought over a Switch, and
it's fantastic. It's not
okay.
worth. It's not worth $400.
No, it's just okay.
I mean, I want to play it real bad, but I can't spend $400 to play the Zelda game.
Play one game. That's essentially what you buy Nintendo consoles for. You're buying the console to get Mario Kart, probably a Smash Brothers,
right?
Zelda, probably a Metroid, and what else? It was probably
Mario.
Yeah, the regular Mario.
So the new Mario is coming out at the end of the year. Apparently, you get to be a dinosaur sometimes. That kind of sounds like fun to me.
Interesting.
It's like Mario said in Grand Theft Auto, which looks amusing to me.
That would be cool.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I don't think you get to murder anyone, but who knows what they have up their sleeve.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's fucking sucks.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I like to see him light people on fire.
Can you pick up a hooker?
I'd rather just play
one can only hope.
a Mario mod for Grand Theft Auto.
We're running around murdering people with a machete.
Just fucking Peach riding Mario in the front seat of a fucking stolen Volkswagen in an alley for money.
No, it's like a Mario Kart.
but the Nintendo system is aimed mainly at like families and children and stuff. So like if I bought one, my son would probably love the hell out of it. Of course, it's a Mario system, Mario Kart. That's all kid stuff, really. I mean, it's fun for us too, but it's aimed at children. It looks like to me.
I think if I flew a lot or took a train or a bus all the time, like I'm on board.
Sure.
Like a full gaming console, I can actually play on the road. That's great, but no, it's.
Well, my favorite. So PlayStation had their conference last night, and I watched it about an hour long. And my favorite thing that they popped up was that Skyrim, which they're milking the fuck out of, is going to be on PlayStation VR. I think that's hilarious. So you're going to run around with the head, because I have the VR headset. So you wear the headset.
Which one do you have?
The PlayStation
VR.
Oh, the
and
VR.
You run around in Skyrim like hacking your sword and shit. I just don't understand why I would want to play that in VR. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me.
That sounds like one of the only things I'd want to play in VR.
Really? I don't know. I
would love.
Most
I
people
played the hell out of that game already.
Well, yeah, that's the one problem is that you've already played it.
Yeah, I played many iterations of it.
But to play Skyrim fresh, and I haven't played Skyrim in several years now. I would love to spend a day with it. I don't know that I would. I'm not going to spend 100 hours with it.
Sure.
But I mean, some of those locations and just making those fucking knives.
Yeah.
And walking really slowly because all your bags are full. I hated that shit.
Or sneaking into a corner and just setting the controller.
I don't know, that opening sequence where you're a prisoner and you're in handcuffs and you're looking around in the cart and then that fucking dragon flies over and lights everything on fire.
Awesome.
That kind of seems to me like what VR is good at and good for. Exploring a vast territory like that. Like that sounds like fun to me for a day. Now I'm not going to grind out Skyrim for the 100 hours that it takes to beat it with that fucking headset on my face, swinging my arms around like some kind of asshole.
Have you tried VR yet in any capacity?
Yeah, like I had a I forget which one it was, the Vive, I think.
Okay.
it's cool. Like, it's kind of fun. But again, I mean, I can't imagine you're going to put 100 hours into a game like that.
VR is cool when it's on the rails. If you're moving yourself, it can get a little disorienting for sure. So I don't know how Skyrim would be, because in other words, if you kind of rotate yourself back and forth like this, it can almost make you like ill playing.
Yeah, but what if you're like strafing around an enemy? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You've got to turn, but you're not doing the forward motion. Yeah, no, I get that.
But there's games that are on the rail. What was that game that we play? The shooting game. I can't remember what it's called.
God.
But anyway, you're like in a Rush of Blood. You're like on a roller coaster and you're shooting guns. You have, what are they called? The remotes. They're like Wiimotes for PlayStation. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway,
the Plus or whatever.
Something like that. But anyway, you use those as your guns and stuff. But you're on a rail and it kind of can look around and everything, but it keeps you on a path.
Moves you from cover to cover.
Exactly. Almost like you're in a car. Right,
that.
So that feels good. Like, you don't feel sick from it. It feels very normal, I guess, and to say the least. But when you're moving around and moving your whole body around and shit, it's pretty tough, man.
He's almost punched a couple holes in the ceiling
by accident, yeah, like
what
hitting
was
the ceiling.
Fruit
and
Ninja
shit.
or something?
Yeah, Fruit Ninja. Yeah, because you hold the controllers and you're like holding swords and shit. It's fun. Believe me, it's a lot of fun.
Sound like fun.
Yeah. Well, one night maybe you guys can stop by. We'll throw your headset on you. And you can run around the basement like a maniac. But it's a lot of fun. But only certain games work for it.
I also think
Skyrim would scare me. I think.
I think it's more of like a party thing too. Like,
it is.
I get enjoyment of like watching his sisters or like friends and stuff playing the game. I think it's really cool. But I like with Resident Evil 7, I played a little bit in the headset, maybe like an hour or two, would you say? And then the rest, it was just all normal.
Because you didn't like it, because it was disorienting, because it just didn't add that much.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It gave you more of like a feeling that you were in the game, and it sort of freaked you out a little bit. But it's very complicated. Like, you have to move your head and move your body, and it's cool.
There's a lot involved. So the less involved it is, the better the gameplay. Yeah. So if it's you moving your arms around, it's fun. Yeah. You're moving your arms around. You're shooting and you're just on a single trajectory. Fun. But if you're moving your whole body, and like they just released like a rifle. It's called the AIM something. And you have this rifle and you can move it around. Now, don't get me wrong. You're moving your body. You have a little cursor up here and you can kind of move around and shit, and it's cool. But after about 20 minutes of that shit, dude, you're like feeling like you're going to throw up. Like you start sweating and stuff. It's not a whole lot of fun.
I don't think the future of VR is at home. I think it's at a mall. I think it's at a mall.
The return of arcades.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you this way.
Crabtown.
Until
Crabtown, USA.
We'll have to make it happen. We'll have to make it happen one weekend where you guys stop by. When you put it on, it's unlike. I know you said you've done it before, but if I threw a couple of games on, it's unlike. Every time I put it on, I feel like I've never experienced it before. That's how amazing sometimes it is. It really blows your mind at first. You're like, holy shit. In fact, my buddy brought it over on a Saturday night. We played it for like 5 hours, Heather and I, with him. And the next day I went out and bought one because it was just like incredible. I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
See, but I think what you're talking about, the problem is that discrepancy between moving in the real world and moving your body, right?
Yes.
So I think you put that in an arcade. You create a booth. You put one of those omnidirectional treadmills underneath you.
I'm with you. I got you.
And you show up at the mall and you pay by the hour to play Skyrim or Counter-Strike or, some sort of proprietary game you come up with. And like, I don't know, the way kind of I always saw it was like you could have a Counter-Strike type game. Like, you ever been to one of those like what the fuck was that? Weirded me out. You ever been to one of those like Eurokart style go-kart tracks where like they've got one out in Laurel. Like, you go to the go-kart track, they keep track of the records, every day and every week and every month.
I've never been there, but I heard
you show up, you swipe a card, and like now you're checked in, and so like they keep track of your lap times and how many you've done and what your fastest lap is and what the guy who's fastest the track, and you could show up for racing series, right? So like you're in a series and you gather points and shit like that. Well, you could do this at the mall with like a VR shooting game, right? Yeah. Like, oh, Chris is the #1 guy at the Annapolis Westfield Mall right now. Like, he's got 400 kills. He's here every Friday night. night, and he competes in these open matches.
That's a way to
and, like,
revamp arcades because
and that,
arcades
and
have died.
I think that's where the future of VR is, and I'd open one of those, but I don't have any money. So
It's
So if you have a lot of money,
yeah, if you have a lot of money, you're interested in that. Let me know.
It is a fun novelty item to have it at home. Yes, there are some games on it that are just the one game I'm telling you about, the Rush of Blood. That's incredible.
That sounds
just
like a
being
ton of fun.
like riding this roller coaster, shooting stuff. It's a lot of fun. But no, you're absolutely right. There's only so much of that shit that you can do before it's just like, okay, I've already seen this before.
Right.
I'm just mad that arcades were pretty much gone by the time we were like drinking age and everything.
Yeah.
I would have loved to just sit in the arcade and get fucking hammered.
There
That's
are
pretty much what I do. At,
there are like
Ocean
barcades
City,
now, like.
I hear there's one in Austin that's like amazing. Like it's like an old school arcade.
Seattle, these like kind of next, cutting edge cities. I think there might be one in College Park, although that might be like a tabletop game bar. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't really been there.
That does not sound fun.
That does not sound fun.
I mean, I have
Using
nothing
your
against.
imagination.
I don't have anything against tabletop games, but I just can't imagine being
Where
like.
were we?
I want to go to a place that specializes. in it.
Right.
You playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons sounds like your worst nightmare.
We went to Dave and Buster's.
I actually love.
Fucking up a game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly. Because it's up to the discretion of the people playing. So of course, the one time I played Dungeons and Dragons, we ended up fighting what a very eloquently described Pikachu. And that was the one thing I remember from it. So he described it all out, and I was like, "Are we fighting fucking Pikachu?" Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Anything else you'd like to hit before we get to our final segment of the day?
I don't remember. Did we hit alcohol that you no longer drink when you're on before?
Alcohol I
question.
won't drink now that I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything
we
you won't
sometimes
touch?
try to hit on that. So.
Well, I think I said it last time. Southern Comfort is one I stay away from, and
Ew.
tequila, because tequila really fucked me up a couple times. I'll never do it again.
What was the worst thing you did on tequila? I ask it like it's
Meet my
heroin.
ex-wife.
I was just gonna say, she who shall not be named.
Yeah, meet my ex-wife. I think it was the worst thing I did on tequila.
Goddamn tequila.
Jack Daniels. I love Jack Daniels, but I stay away from it. Drinking it so much. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, sort of. One time I went to a bar, we had shots and shots and shots of it, and I ended up getting so wasted. It could really be any alcohol, really. But it made me kind of crazy, and I was like running on top of tables and stuff inside this bar like a complete jackass. And my buddy had to pull me down off the table. He's like, we need to get the fuck out of here. You can't act like this. And that was the last time that I drank Jack Daniels that much. Now, every once in a while, I have a little bit here and there, but not like that. Yeah, I drank it like all night long, shot after shot.
Everyone goes through those learning phases.
Yes, I don't like doing shots that much anymore either. Shots,
Just in general.
yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me like it used to. It's just too much. I like to casually enjoy drinking and all that kind of stuff. I don't need to pound it left and right. You know what I mean?
I think straight shots, whiskey and even vodka and stuff like that, I'm okay with. It's when you start getting into weird stuff. It's just the results are too unpredictable.
Sure.
I think, Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be like
You'll know
sick?
exactly
Am
what
I
you're
going to
getting.
am I going to want to fight somebody? Like,
Is this shit
yeah.
going to get out of hand?
Yeah,
What is
yeah,
yours, by the way?
Do you
Jaeger. I mean, I never really drank it, but I had it in shots and stuff before. I remember I was at a party one night. It was a house party with, I don't know how they fit, but it had to have been 200 or 300 people in this
We're
house.
almost done.
It was crazy.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
He's got about 1 minute left in him.
I'm sure I've heard this story before.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he has.
Ends up naked and shitting herself, if I remember correctly.
All right. Well,
It's not how it ends. Spoiler alert.
This is not that story. Okay, we'll get into that next.
Yeah, I don't know how this many people fit in this house, but there was somehow like bands, and they were in this little teeny tiny room. It was like a book nook or something, like literally a bookcase and like a little chair, and they fit like 3 or 4 bands that were just like a couple kids locally or something.
Sure.
And I remember my friend offered me, he just handed me a bottle of Jaeger, and I was like,
it wasn't so
fuck
much an
it.
offer as a instruction.
Yeah, basically, just
Here,
this is yours.
drink this.
So I took a sip, and this guy saw me hand it back to him. I guess he saw the whole interaction, and he was like, "Hey man, I'll buy a shot off of you." So he was like, "Okay." And the guy was like, here's $1. Can I have a shot? And he was like, all right. So he takes a shot of it, and I'm sitting on a couch, like completely fucked up. And my friend like taps me on the shoulder about 5 minutes later, and I'm like, what? And I look in front of me, like this far from me, this kid that just took the shot from my friend is vomiting into a red Solo cup. And it's overflowing over the red Solo cup.
Oh, God.
And I have this incredible fear of vomit. It's so bad. I'm scared of vomiting. I'm scared of people vomiting. I'm scared of looking at vomit, hearing someone vomit. I don't watch Tosh.0 very often because there's always vomit. And this kid was just throwing up Jaeger into the Solo cup, making it overflow. It was just a mess. It was fucking gross. I will not touch Jaeger.
I mean,
so you don't do Jaeger because somebody else drank it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new one.
That's a first on this show.
Filthy, disgusting. Ugh.
Inside your head right now, you're just like,
Yeah, a little bit.
You never drank and got sick, have you?
I have not thrown up since I was 6 years old.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's part of my problem is I
New record.
haven't done it. Yeah, basically.
Oh, so it's like it's so scary to you because it's like the unknown at this
The
point.
unknown, yes. How bad am I with throw up?
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Because if the cat even throws up a little bit, she gets like all out of
It's
whack.
It's not so bad unless
cats
it's
throwing
really
up are
gross.
the most
It's
hilarious.
just like, yeah, that's exactly.
Do you have a trash can? I feel like I could probably work one out right now.
Let's just see what happens.
just to see,
You'll ruin
you know,
her day,
will she,
possibly the
will
whole
she
week.
run out of the room screaming?
Oh
Like-
yeah, yeah. Because I've thrown up before, and she would like practically leave the house.
I didn't practically leave. I left.
Yeah,
I left all
yeah.
the way.
It's like across the room, like throwing a towel at you. Good luck.
I'm not holding your hair, asshole.
Yeah, I think I could have held your hair, by the way, because you had that weird like
Yeah.
weird hair shit going on.
Your phone rings 3 days later. Heather, where are you? I don't know. Tokyo, I think.
Yeah.
I just
Across the
kept handing
border.
flight attendants money saying, as far away from the United States as you can get me.
Yeah,
That was the
it's
worst,
bad.
man, because we went to eat at Two Rivers, and I ate this sandwich, and it made me feel sick all night long.
Hold on, really quick. We love Two Rivers, by the
Yeah, we
way.
do.
It was
Yeah.
just about.
But
as
it made
weird.
I
me
was
really
just about
sick.
to mention that. Just how he threw two rivers.
Yeah.
Two rivers.
Well, no,
under
it
the-
just made me
under-
so sick. Well, it's my favorite sandwich. I've eaten there since, and I've had it. But it made me so vilely sick. Like all night long, I just
All
rolled,
night.
toss and turn all night long, man.
Ugh.
And I woke up the next day, and I don't usually throw up even when I'm drunk. I try to stay away from even doing that. And I went right to the bathroom. And so when I throw up, I laugh because I think it's so hilarious that I'm like, you're out of control. Like you're throwing up, you're like, oh, you know, and you can't control it. And I can hear it. So I'm like laughing while I'm throwing up. It happens almost every time. And I'm laughing as I'm throwing up. And I'm finally like, white as it goes, sweating everywhere. And she's like, well, see you later. Boom. Door closes.
You even asked for a kiss. And as he walked out, he brought like the slight vomit wind with him. And I'm like, I smell it. And he's like, I flushed the toilet. I'm like, no, like, get the fuck away from me.
Looked like death warmed over.
Maybe next
Stay away
year.
from me.
Yeah.
Two Rivers. Is that the one in Pasadena?
Yes, it's delicious.
Yeah, my in-laws love that place. What sandwich?
It was the
French dip
Yeah,
sandwich.
the French-
It's
Good
prime
sandwich.
rib.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
good.
I had that
With
last
the
time I was there. It's a
sauce.
good sandwich.
I don't know what
I
happened.
did not vomit my
Tastes
guts
like
out.
vomit.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, if I had a bug or if it just happened. I don't know. Who knows? I've eaten it since then.
I think his son had like some sort of stomach bug like a couple weeks
Yeah.
or days before that. So it could have been
I
either
just
or.
passed it on, maybe.
That's
yeah.
like me with sushi. I can't have sushi anymore, but I don't know if it was a bug or food poisoning.
Yeah.
So I haven't eaten it.
Shit coming out of my ass.
A little bit of that. A lot of bit of that.
Remember that episode of South Park? That was awesome.
It's like,
Shit.
Our final segment for the day.
Final segment.
Would you rather, as a man, be French kissed by your grandmother? I guess you're your grandfather.
That's happened to Chris once.
Or
sorry, go ahead.
I can tell the story. It's fine.
or
So we know the answer for Chris.
your best friend's father.
Fuck.
Mother in your case.
So
Oh, okay.
Either your own grandmother
Or your best friend.
Or your best friend's father. Or your own
That's
grandfather. Or your best friend's mother.
All of that.
Less weird. I feel. Well, I guess it depends on how you feel about those things.
Every bit of that's horrifying.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's really not good.
I mean, your dad's a great guy, but I don't know if he's my type. It's horrifying.
I don't have a good answer here.
This is definitely one of those ones. It's like there's no. Like every once in a while, we read one of these, and it's like you're like, oh, why is there even a question? Like this is clearly
This is not one of those.
This is not one of those.
Okay, so I feel like I can look Steve Tyler in the eye and be like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Let's
get
this
it over with. Like
I
I don't know. There's no context here. Like
Yeah, like,
he's not
are you
gonna,
forced to?
He's not
because
gonna
of a
like
gun?
come up
Like,
behind me and rub my shoulders, right, and being like, you know.
How you feeling there, T Money?
while you're playing pinball, he comes up behind you.
I mean, is
Gives you a
it
little
like an indecent proposal? Like
little pat on the
I've
ass.
got $200 in my pocket. If you just like I just figured like you have to do one or the other, and everybody's in on it. I don't know, Chris.
Well, because my grandmother didn't make out with me. So my grandmother was a crack addict. Okay, long story. So yeah, a crack
short
addict,
story.
heroin
Fucking
addict. She was really bad. It's my
buckle up.
mom's mom.
Okay.
She's a nut job. Anyway, one time
Go on.
my ex-girlfriend was taking a photo, and so my mom is on one side. I call her
Did you
crackhead
just
grandma.
quotey fingers taking a photo? Was she like fake taking a
Oh
photo?
no, she was taking
Okay.
taking a photo. Like like
got
this.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
pushing the
So
button.
my mom is over here,
Got it.
and my crackhead grandma's over here. While she's taking the photo, my ex-girlfriend, she had the camera up taking the photo, and then she would take it down like this to look at the photo. You know, the old school camera with the screen.
Okay.
She looked at the photo on the screen, and while she was looking at the photo, my crackhead grandmother started licking inside my ear. Now, I never got to the bottom of why that was happening. I didn't really ask too many questions because I don't see her that often, and it was really freaking me the fuck out. But I stood up and I walked away from her, and she never brought it up to me, didn't say anything weird to me, just did it. It was just like doing that, and it freaked me out. But at the same
I'm more horrified
yeah.
by that than the question.
But the same evening, there was this band that my sister was friends with, and at that time she was 15. It was the younger kids, and my crackhead grandmother was screaming at them to take their shirts off. That was equally as horrifying because their parents are there watching this all happen. And my take your shirt off, take your shirt off. You know, all this
Okay.
shit. Meanwhile, her teeth are coming out of her head. It's the whole thing.
So crackhead granny was feeling a little randy.
So I wouldn't make out. So
maybe she thought she got a vibe off you, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Well, fuck it. I mean, what's he gonna get me pregnant?"
right,
Like,
yeah, right, exactly, right. How can I make this shit
You're
weird?
about to see vomit.
Right.
Oh no! Time for me to leave.
Well, I mean, it's either she was fucking with him, right? Like, I'm gonna lick the inside of his ear and it'll really bother him, probably for the rest of his life, like long after I'm dead.
Because I'm
which
a
is
terrible
really,
person.
which is really funny. I mean, if that was her thinking, like, I'm gonna lick the inside of his ear and it'll fuck with him
And
forever.
ruin his life. Yeah,
It
yeah.
may
This
ruin his-
story will always come up when he's drinking.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Or she thought she caught a vibe and thought maybe there was a thing there.
Like, hey, son, you're looking cute.
And when you get to
Take
be
off
that
your
age,
shirt.
When you
Take
get
off
to
your
be that
shirt.
age, sometimes you see the opening and you go for it.
She hugged me once and her tooth came out. That was cool too. And by the way, she then picked up the tooth and shoved it back in her head. That was crazy.
There's a sentence I never thought I would hear.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky said, "You miss out on fucking 100% of the grandchildren that you don't try to fuck."
Wait, what?
Huh?
Wait a minute. How do you not know that is his best quote?
How did we get?
I
to
think
this?
that was the title of his biography.
Well, to answer the question, I guess make out with my grandmother because shit, it already fucking happened.
Right? Yeah. She'd be into it. You'd be apparently not totally upset by it. I mean, you were kind of
Can
okay
I
with
ask a
that.
question?
You're already
I
traumatized.
want a general consensus on this. I have noticed a lot of memes and things on Facebook where people are talking about eating ass, like guys eating girls' asses, and it's
Okay.
like so now it's a thing, right? So
No.
I want to know, when did that become a
No.
thing? Because we're a part of this group where they post all these nasty memes. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
No, part of this Facebook group. I'm sorry, we're not a part of Ass Eating Anonymous or anything, but we're part of this
We're
group.
part of this group of ass
Yeah.
eating enthusiasts.
So
you know.
it's a Facebook group, and they all post all these fucking nasty
There's
memes,
so many
and they
great
talk
titles
about
in this last
they
bit.
talk about eating ass and shit. And I want to know, when did that become popular? Because when I was in like school, and we're talking about like all the different things you would do to a woman and everything, it was never like, I want to eat ass. Like one guy said that eating ass is like, it tastes like pennies and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? So the guy obviously has done this, right? So when did that become a big deal? I don't understand. Is anybody else noticing this trend, or is it just us in this group? That's my question, I guess.
In Ass Eating Anonymous. I don't know. I just assume everything on the internet's a fucking lie. So
Yeah.
Okay, here's my question then. We don't need to take from the box. If you love somebody so much and they wanted you to eat their ass, would you do it?
no,
Okay.
Really?
Would you?
I'm not eating
If
ass.
you
no.
really wanted me to eat your ass, like really wanted me to eat your ass, listen, I've already had my grandmother tongue kiss my ear. Shit is worse. Okay? Shit is worse. Shit can be worse. As long as you clean up back there really, really well.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Why not? I'm in.
Come on.
If that's what you want.
Well.
Shower a couple of baby wipes. I mean, what? I
right.
mean,
I can let
I'm not saying it's a thing I'm into. I'm just saying, like,
Let's get shit weird.
it's not that much further south. Like, I mean, how? It is just
right
fucking
by
skin.
it's right
Like,
by the
that's
vagina.
inch.
It's right by the vagina.
Right. That's what I mean. Like,
I
it
don't know. That
can't
grosses
be.
me the fuck out.
I mean, I'm not
To
saying
each
I'm
their
into
own.
it.
You guys
I'm
have
just,
fun.
I'm just saying, like, if somebody.
Mike is like, I'm
somebody
confident
came-
by my answer. There's no way I'm eating it.
If my significant other was like, I'd really like to give this a shot one time. Sure, why the fuck not?
Yeah. Get
And
a little,
I think,
get a little
and I
booze in
think
you.
kids are doing it now because they've always got to be doing something different.
Well, not only that, but I think that
The stuff our kids are going to be doing when they get into high school and college is going to be just fucking horrifying.
I stand by this.
can't even imagine it.
I think sex and being online and being as easily accessible as it is. Like, remember when we were kids growing up, it wasn't like you could just go online and watch fucking porn, man. We were little kids. We had to find magazines and our parents' VHSs and all that kind of crap.
I found my first porn in a box on the side of the road, literally on the side of the road. The internet wasn't a
That's a
thing.
good
Oh my
story.
God!
I'm afraid there's not much else to it. Like, I'm riding my
What
bike on the
kind of-
side of the road behind Caldor at the time. You know, the little road that
Caldor.
runs behind
That's
Caldor?
right.
Yeah, and there was a little box and it had porno in it. I was like, all right, this is mine now.
Next to like a Dreamcast game.
I had that porno. I
Okay,
think,
well, you
for
know
a-
what? Now you
for a
piqued my
long
interest.
time.
What porn was it?
I remember it was a
Not
small
that he
book.
can't remember. He's just
It
reminiscing.
was a small book. there was two of them. There was a small book that was mostly like text stuff, and I do, yeah, like it was like stories, right? With like there'd be an
Weird
illustration.
Stories.
No, I do remember. I do remember one particular story that was in there. This is, I mean, I'm like 12 at this point, so this is more than 20
You're still
years
getting
ago.
to know yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
and
You
and
got
what
to
the-
know the book.
what was what was the story? It was like it was a guy who brought his girlfriend in. Anyway, I won't recount this whole horrible porno, but yeah, it was a little storybook, and then there was like a magazine that was just like something virgins, I think. But yeah, it was, you know, on
Was
the
it
side of the
creepy
road.
porn or like? Because I remember the first
it was
porn I
pretty,
Like
it was
regular.
pretty.
first porn I
Middle
ever
of the
watched
road.
was over. You didn't know Ryan Rich, did you? Did you guys know him? Ryan Rich. He was
Yeah.
he was a really bizarre guy, weirdo kid. But he had his parents' VHSs in his basement, and it was at like 1970s porn, like big bush porn. And I remember watching that, and like a guy was fucking this girl in like a dryer and like licking her pussy and all this stuff. But as a kid, I'm watching, I'm just like, who would like this? You know, I'm 11 years old. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is disgusting. You
When's
know?
the ass eating start?
Yeah. This is a coming of age tale.
Coming.
I'm the reverse. Like I like yeah, what the kids do now like bothers me. I really want to know like what our grandparents' generation and great grandparents' generation were really like behind closed doors.
I guarantee you it was all the exact same shit.
His answer was not really best friend's father. It was grandma.
Yeah.
He's interested in his grandma's sex
Fuck,
Fuck,
life.
that took a weird turn.
She nailed it.
We've been on a weird turn.
Oh, another thing about kids these days I don't like is the word legit. You go ahead. I hate when people use legit.
MC Hammer started it. Leave him
Legit's a
be.
good word.
They should have left it. They should have left it.
Too
be.
legit to quit.
It's people who
Would
use
you
the word too
rather
much.
have to live down the fact that you once spent 10 years in the porn industry
What a
or
great transition.
10 years as a crooked cop? So everybody knows you did one of these two things, and everybody knows. Which one is it?
I'd probably be a crooked cop.
I'd say porn. Crooked cop, I wouldn't want to be known for that.
I wouldn't want to be known for porn because
If you're known for porn,
like
you got to have
said-
if a guy, you got a big wiener. So I'm cool with that. People know I have a big wiener?
What if it's gay
Hold
porn?
on. This
Oh,
is
if it's gay,
hypothetical.
well, hey,
right?
listen. If we're going into
You're
gay
only
porn,
known
Don't they
when
all
Did
do
you
you're
say-
that
wait a
pay
minute.
for pay?
That's what I hear. I think a lot of
Did
them
you
in
say
their
gay
early
porn?
careers-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only men are only really known for gay porn. There's like very few that are known for straight.
I mean, as long as there's ass eating,
where are you
it's all
getting
the
your
same.
statistics from?
I
She's in
I have
another
to
Facebook
agree.
group. That,
Yeah. We know about the gay porn.
They pass along a lot of porn-related
I
statistics.
like her statistics. Well, more guys are into gay
it's a
porn.
real
No,
thing.
Mikey's
Women are
right.
gay-
A lot
or
of
gay
them,
dudes.
most of them start gay porn
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
because
they-
that's where the money
Is that where they make most of their cash?
Nobody pays male porn stars. Who gives a fuck
What about
about male porn stars?
Lexington Steel? I mean,
There's like 3 of them. Like how many male porn stars do you name? Like 5 tops. One of them's Ron
yeah,
Jeremy.
but who wants to be
who's
known
not really
as
a porn
crooked
star
cop,
anymore.
though? I mean, that's like, that's no good.
Well, but I feel like that your history is it. Like if you were known for being a porn star, now somebody can go on the internet and go look that up,
Yeah.
and
And-
that's kind of weird.
Like
I think I'll go
said-
cop.
Yeah, kids these days are
Well,
into
you're
weird
probably-
shit. So I would be like being fucked in the ass by like a lesbian with a strap on or something if I were known for porn. I don't want people to see me like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just get some negative.
You know
backlash
what?
for
I
being a
understand this more than ever now. Just based off of that.
Well, I
This is
mean,
like
that's,
I
like,
would
weird
also
stuff.
not want to.
I am also going to go crooked cop.
Yeah.
Depends on how crooked you are.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I've
Depends
watched
on
too
what
many
you did.
documentaries about
Like,
crooked
did you
cops.
kill a guy? Did you send a teenager to jail like for fun?
Maybe you got evidence like without a warrant or something.
Most crooked cops are
Sprinkle
badass.
some
though.
crack on them, Johnson.
Yeah.
Case closed.
Did I just take a bunch of money, like training day style? Like I don't know, who gives a
Yeah,
shit.
I'd
If
do.
you take
I'd probably
money,
do that
you, could,
anyway.
you would have cool things though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I gotta go cop. Would you rather drink these drink ones always bother me. Would you rather drink a half gallon of pureed human brain tissue
Ew.
or eat 12 live baby mice?
What the fuck?
Yeah, sometimes these get real dark.
I'll go with the brain.
Last
tissue.
week we had a hard time with this one. It was either you could drink a 12-ounce glass of pureed kitten or drink a 12-ounce glass of equal parts blood and milk.
Ew.
I would do
Yeah.
blood and milk all day.
You
Not
look
cats.
excited about
Not
that.
Cat, not cats.
Says the guy with a hat that says vampire.
Yeah, but I'm
I-
just
fuck
saying. No,
off.
I'm just saying like cat.
You
Like I'm
don't
saying
count.
like I don't want to drink cats.
Oh,
man.
you love cats.
I love cat. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we have 3.
He loved to
cats in
push
the
hash.
house.
So
No,
either pureed brain tissue or eat 12 live baby mice.
I'm with Mike on the pureed
Yeah,
brain tissue.
probably the brains.
Live mice, dude. That has to be
feel
tough.
like-
Live anything.
I feel like you could get it's pureed. You could chug that down
Yeah.
reasonably fast.
That's a lot of pureed, but you're probably right.
It's like a Weight Watchers.
Have you seen me do a car bomb? Like I feel like
I think I'd have a hard time doing it. I think I'd go like go and then just come back.
yeah, but you do that with a mouse.
Yeah,
too,
think about
and it's
chewing on
also
the bones.
She was
clawing
like
at you.
crunchy and shit like that. Yeah, no.
And they're moving around. The tail's in there. They got that
I mean,
weird
there's
tail.
bones in there.
Yeah.
Tails hanging out your mouth going like that.
Yeah.
Baby mice though, bones probably aren't that crunchy.
How many baby mice?
12.
12.
See, that's a lot of baby mice.
Yeah, but they're really
Are
tiny.
you talking like the little what are they
The
called?
pinkies?
Little pink ones? I would think so.
Oh, they're pinkies. Oh shit!
Yeah, I
I'm
think so.
going with that. They're like Cheetos, man.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I
There's
mean, they
no
have
good
to be
answer to
alive.
that.
A
They have to
one?
be alive.
They're like moving around like little like worms or something. That's gross.
Ew.
Would you rather lose all of your money and live on the streets or kill someone and live as a millionaire?
I'll kill somebody for free.
Yeah, kill somebody and live as a millionaire.
Do you get to pick who?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Yeah, this is pretty
You need
vague.
to specify.
If
I
don't,
assume.
if I don't get to choose, because it's like, say it's like your friends and family are also in the pot for who you might have to kill. All right, I'll live on the street. But if it's just like I have to pick somebody and kill them, and then I get $1 million.
Okay, look. Okay, so I'm gonna outline this. Okay, so there's a man. He's in his mid-40s. He didn't start life as a millionaire. Okay, he built his own fortune. He's worth approximately $20 million. He has a wife and 2 children. You have to murder him, and his family will have to deal with his death. But then basically, you get all of his money and his assets.
Oh, he did.
So you assume the life of that guy? If he has a hot wife, I'm in.
No,
Bonus.
Where am I in this equation?
Well, no, we're just talking hypothetically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, you'll be beside me.
Okay.
Or is kids cool, or are they like little douche kids?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really in my scenario. You weren't really like sliding into his life. Like you just kind of took all of his
Is the
money.
Isn't
wife
that more
in-
fun though? Because you can just slide
And
into
now
his
his
life.
wife's on the street.
You're
Is
now-
the wife into
you're
ass
automatically
play?
a
'Cause
millionaire.
That's, what,
Is she into eating ass?
that's really we're asking the important
Is it true that it
questions here.
tastes like pennies?
If
Or-
that were the situation,
Tastes
I
like-
wouldn't be able to do it. I would live on the streets. But if it were a Dexter type scenario where like you were killing somebody who did something horrifying, I'd be so down.
Oh, I see. So if all you got to do is throw the switch in the electric chair of a murderer for $1 million, you're down for that all day.
Or like, I mean, I would chop him up into little bits and everything if he like
Children
raped,
bag.
raped and killed children.
That wasn't required. You didn't need to torture and murder a guy brutally.
Oh.
But I like your
I'd give
I
him a
like your
gunshot.
enthusiasm. That's
Well, that's what Dexter did. He wrapped him up in saran wrap and shoved a knife through their heart and then chopped them up and threw them in the ocean.
I'm concerned about living with you now.
Well, you shouldn't be because
If you
you're
have any
not,
rich
like,
friends,
a
that's when you
rapist
should
or a
worry.
murderer.
Right? Yeah.
You
You're
kill a
You're
millionaire
gonna
with
wake
a
up.
family.
You're gonna wake up in the middle of the night covered in saran wrap. Tell me again how attracted to your grandmother you are. You fucking asshole. Would you rather descend from a helicopter 1,000 feet high by sliding down a 1,000-foot long metal pole, or by jumping under the magical condition that promises you will be saved if you can land on your feet?
What the fuck?
This is wildly specific.
It is. I'd slide down the pole.
Confusing.
And I do
I mean,
really cool
So a
stuff.
Can
promise
you-
that you'll
can
land on your
you?
feet. So that's a
No,
possibility.
okay. So you're going to jump out of this helicopter.
Uh huh.
If you land on your feet, you live. If you don't land on your feet, you die.
Die. I got it.
The other option is to basically, I don't know why the helicopter has to be involved. Basically, you have to slide down a 1,000-foot metal pole. Which
God
I'm
damn.
not 100% convinced I can do.
Yeah. Right.
It's a lot of pole.
Shit. Landing on your feet, even
That, you could fuck that up real easy.
big time.
If you were a cat, it would be very, very easy choice.
That's true.
Good point.
But I'm so stupid. I'd probably land on my fucking pinky.
Oh man, as soon as I hit that pole, I'm falling off dead.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to like stay straight up, right? Like I think your body's natural
Yeah.
tendency is to flare out and be like flat.
I think
Right.
so.
and
So
I feel like 1,000 feet isn't a lot of time to figure it out.
1,000 feet is not a lot of time to figure it out. Again, I don't know that I can slide by 1,000 feet of
If you went too
of
fast,
metal
it would-
pole.
it would
That's
burn.
sliding down a metal pole from the top of the Empire State Building.
It would burn coming down.
Well, it's a cold day and the sun's not out.
No, not the metal, not the bar itself is hot.
Oh, like rug burn.
It's that
like
you're
pole
just
burn?
you get a little
I've
pole
gotten
burn.
that before.
I don't want to know how.
You don't use enough lube.
Hey,
Can I bring lube? Is there lube involved?
Yeah,
I'm here for the
It's
gangbang.
important.
let me bring my bottle of lube.
A little bit of lube.
I'll slide down the pole. Seems more.
I'll jump out and take my chances. And so if I land on my feet, I land on my feet. If I don't, I don't.
Fuck that.
Because
I
if I'm
suffered
on the
through
pole,
burn.
you got to worry about hanging on that pole for 1,000 feet and making it all
But
the
it
way
would
down
be
to the
so
bottom.
chest. And you have legs and arms. With that, I mean, you only have like one chance. You
Think
gotta
about
land
a
on the bottom of
firehouse
your-
If the pole is actually lubricated, then yeah, I'll take the pole. Well, I mean, the problem is if the pole's lubricated, you're gonna hit the ground at fucking 40 miles an hour.
Well, what if you're wearing a long sleeve shirt and hugging it?
But that's what I mean. Like if if you actually slide down that whole pole,
I mean, it's not saying you're fucking naked. Like,
Yeah.
if you have clothes on and you just control the descent.
see, I think that's the hard part. For 1,000 feet, I think I make it down about 300. About
You'd
300.
come down that pole so
300
goddamn
feet of that
fast if it
pole.
was
I
greased
burn my
up.
arms out and I fall 700 feet.
Remember
to my
Christmas
death.
Vacation with Clark Griswold on the snow, going down the snowbank, and he greased the bottom of it, and he just flew like a rocket. Imagine coming down that pole like that,
That's also a
catching
movie.
on fire and shit. Huh?
That's also a movie.
I think
Were
we might
you
be
acting like we're
overthinking
really
this.
going down the goddamn pole?
I would be interested in trying it sometime to see, if you could land on your feet or if I could slide down the pole.
Where can we find a
to see.
1,000-foot metal pole?
I want to go to a firehouse and just
If
put
you
on
know
that
where
thing.
to get a
Yeah, I would
1,000-foot
love
metal
to.
pole, leave us a note in the comments.
Please.
Tell us where we can find your podcast. The
The
Gastlecast,
Gastlecast, Gastle,
Yep.
Cast, because I call my house the Gastle, the Gastle.
Yeah. 'cause his
But
last
it's
name
on
is
set.
Gas.
It's on.
I like how you just looked at her like, I know you hate this, but I do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy. You're gonna enjoy every moment of this. It's on SoundCloud. It can be also found on what is the Apple iTunes.
iTunes?
Yep. So Gastlecast. We have about 9 episodes or so,
Very good.
Good stuff.
Go out, download it.
and we're fun and
Listen.
funny, and we have a good time. We have a real good time, except for her. We have a
Quote
really good time.
unquote. Just put that on the front page of your podcast. We're fun and funny and we have a good time.
That's right. That's our tagline.
Chris Gast.
We
like it's
also-
a review.
We also like ass play.
It tastes like pennies.
God damn.
Well, this was fun. Thanks for inviting us.
Yo,
Yeah, thanks for stopping
shoot
in.
me a link to your Ass Play Facebook group later.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah, we gotta
Definitely
get into
will.
that some more. Ass play, I mean.
Guess what? You're gonna love it once you're in. Believe me.
That's what she said.
Take that more ways than one.
Thank you guys for coming. This was a great time.
It was a great
Appreciate
time.
you stopping
Thank
by.
Of course.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in, listening to us every week. We'll see you next time on the next last call.
See you.